Mick Williams knows his trade, so much so that when he set up a petition urging the government to introduce a boiler scrappage scheme, ministers actually listened. More on that later. Mick started Williams & Co in 1972, trading out of a corner shop in Portsmouth. It's now one of the largest independent plumbers merchants in the south of the UK. However, despite opening several branches, by 1993 the growth of the business had stalled. The year 2000 was something of a watershed. For the first time, the management team took a strategic look at the business. Traditionally, plumbers merchants operate on a high list price, less discount model, where customers and sales teams haggle to agree the eventual selling price. Williams & Co introduced a simple, single, low price policy.
It was a brave decision, but we felt that that was the right thing to do, and it also enabled us to simplify our pricing structure. In fact, we went a little further than we could have done and basically have a one price for everybody, which makes it very easy. It's that price whether you buy 1 or 5, it's that price whether you buy it here or in Guildford. It's very transparent, everybody knows where they are.
We have to set our budgets every year that we get from the government, so if we can get it fixed straight away, then that's even better, because we can then say how many bathrooms we can do that year, how many kitchens we can complete, etc. So it's very beneficial to us, saves a lot of time our end as well.
The company also introduced a trade-only policy as a core principle of its business model. The move immediately lost it 18% in turnover, but it was a gamble that paid off.
We knew that about 18% of our business was retail, and we knew that that would be immediately not just at risk but would actually come out of the business. We were a little surprised. We expected it to take about a year to get that back. In fact, it only took us 10 to 14 weeks. So at the time it seemed like a big risk. In retrospect, actually it seems like the best decision we ever made.
Today, the trade-only policy together with the single low price model are important USPs for the company.
It makes a huge difference. The knowledge that's around within Williams, they're always willing to help. And when you come in, you don't get that sort of, no one knows how to talk to you, or a big long queue full of people who are just there to pick up DIY bits, really. So it's very beneficial.
The management also decided to only stock and sell brands and products that suited its trading model. By limiting the number of suppliers it deals with, Williams & Co is able to foster good relationships and ensure high quality and competitive pricing for its customers. Enforcing the single fixed price model with customers and staff is still an ongoing challenge.
When we move to a new town, we find it takes a year or so to train customers out of the habit of asking for discounts. And we have a similar problem with new staff. When staff join us who have worked within the traditional model, they are accustomed to it, and it takes a little bit of time to adjust their way of thinking.
The successes of the new model quickly began to outnumber any failures. In 2000, the company had 5 branches and a turnover of £3.5 million. Now it has 15 branches and a turnover of £15 million. Williams & Co has self-funded its expansion, ploughing around 50% of the profits back into the business.
We can move funds at a flash of a button, and then, it's all completely in our control. We can do, if we need to do something. For instance, if Ray decides that he wants to buy a whole shed load of boilers, he can do that to get the competitive edge on, other purchases. It's in our control.
Today, the company takes a confident approach to its competitors.
We perhaps had used, if we were looking for a branch, to try and find somewhere that didn't have a plumber's merchant. Now we try and find somewhere that has 5 or 6 plumber's merchants. The simplicity and therefore the low cost of our model means that we're able to compete effectively even with much larger competitors.
Turning a small family business into a scalable model without losing the family feel is a challenge. Over the years, the company tried to introduce layers of management, but found that this diluted its core message. Williams & Co now completely ignores hierarchical management and has a near flat structure.
We found that when we had a management structure, that it was like Chinese whispers. It wasn't quite right when it got to the branches. So one message coming from the board to each branch makes it a lot simpler to make sure that the right message is getting out.
For Mick Williams, the company has come a long way, but he's never one to look back. We mentioned earlier that he's even had an influence on government. From a Twitter page comment he made in 2009 suggesting the government should work with boiler manufacturers to create a boiler scrappage scheme, he spearheaded a campaign which gained the support of environmentalists, the industry and cross-party politicians.
Somebody said, well, why don't you start a petition on the Number 10 website? So that's what I did. And then the environmentalists came on board, and all of a sudden we've got a full-blown campaign.
Around 6 months later, the £50 million policy was introduced in England.
It was announced that it would be in the pre-budget report, which was very exciting and slightly overwhelming for me, because I was just an ordinary guy from Portsmouth who started a campaign, and 6 months later it was government policy.
Williams & Co.'s goal is to open more branches and to increase its turnover to 20 million by 2013. As the company has grown in size, it has also grown in confidence. Its simple formula for business is paying off, and its ambition for the future is quite simply more of the same.